I know a lot of people care about their legacy and stuff like that. For me, it's just how many people I can help along the way. I'm much more focused on the present and now and not on the things I can't control.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Nathan Hirsch. Previously, episode 88, followed by a face-to-face conversation on the 13th of June, 2018. Nathan is alive with us, amazing audience. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm excellent, my friend. It's such a great pleasure to connect with you. Everything that you do and the way you put your best foot forward, I've seen it over almost like 3 years, right? From the background, more so with Free Up. Again, free, FR, 3 E's, right? He couldn't do the 2 E's. He maxed it up to 3 E's. Freeup.com. What's the latest with you, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, we just broke 18,000 build hours in 1 week. We're working on a bunch of new software updates. We're taking one of our part-time developers and adding him on full-time. So we're really excited about that. And we think that's going to open up a lot of opportunities. And outside of that, I mean, we're entering the fourth quarter. That's when people need to hire people. They're preparing right now at the end of the third quarter. They're going to be ready for busy season. We work with a lot of e-commerce sellers or marketing agencies, a lot of which have e-commerce sellers as clients. So it's a busy time. I feel like the beginning of the year is all about like upgrading your processes and fixing everything from what you learned the year before. The second half of the year is more of that preparing, maybe reaching out for partnerships and trying to get out as much as possible in a lot of marketing. And third quarter is really preparing for the fourth quarter. And then fourth quarter is that time to execute where everything that you prepared for the past 3 quarters comes to fruition. It's a lot of day-to-day stuff. And then you start all over again in January. So that's about where we are right now.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Now, you seem to be an old guy in a young guy's body. The wisdom you speak of here in terms of understanding and feeling what life is like, you've really mapped out the seasons of your life, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say I'm an old guy in a young guy's body. I mean, I always feel like in my mind I'm like 23, but I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years now, and I've never had a real job. So that's a long time to learn from your mistakes and to meet other entrepreneurs and learn from them. So I feel like I'm just familiar with the industry. I think I know myself very well. I know my business partner very well, and I kind of know what works for me. And what works for me doesn't necessarily work for every single entrepreneur out there, but I try to focus on my strengths and surrounding myself with people that are smarter than me, but also just make me look really good on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I think even the individuals that work for you, they're proud to be part of your team. And that's huge, right? And it's because you take responsibility, and not just for yourself, not just for the part of the business where you could have been profitable, but you take responsibility for the service they offer. And thus, it looks well, and it is well for everyone functioning around your system at freeup.com. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I mean, we know that whether it's a client, a partner, a freelancer, I mean, we just have to treat people well. It's an imperfect business, right? There's going to be people that just aren't the right fit to fit with others. There's going to be clients that are confused. There's going to be stuff that goes on, and we continue to try to make that process better. But when something does come up, and we're a startup, we're human, we make mistakes, but we fix it. We make it right. We make sure people are treated fairly. We make sure people are good with the resolutions. It's not just me barking down orders, telling people how it is. And we try to create a community where people want to be there and they want to keep coming back.
Now, the online space to me seems to be like the old words that were spoken where, you know, once you give someone money, you get to see the true person as to who they are, right? Because it's like it maximizes who the individual was even before they got that money. I think within the online space, it gives that type of power, you know, like troll, right? Like if you're a troll offline and you get online, well, you know, you see the maximum of that. However, it's really intriguing because with the online space growing, you seem to have been growing to keep true to the vision of helping others. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's funny when I run into people at conferences and they're like, oh, like, tell me how you learn marketing, or you're such a good marketer. And in my mind, I am not a marketer. I don't come from a marketing background. I mean, going into starting Free Up, I sold on Amazon for 8 years. There's no marketing, at least back when I was doing Amazon. There was no Facebook ads. There was no external traffic. You're really just relying on Amazon's algorithm. So for me, I'm really learning this as I go. I'm doing a lot of trial and error. I'm trying things day in and day out to see what works and what doesn't work. I'm trying to be authentic and represent Free Up and myself in the way that that I think should be portrayed. And that's really all I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And I'm also hiring freelancers, hiring consultants, hiring agencies to handle things like my Instagram, like my Twitter, things that it's not my area of expertise. I can come up with different content, but I'm not the one to necessarily get it out there. So it looks like I'm doing a lot, but there's a lot of other people behind the scenes too.
Now, your parents were both teachers, and it's really intriguing. Your mother as well. I'm always fascinated by it, even though it was a non-profit that she ran. But the way you change direction when necessary. Now, from the Amazon business into FreeUp, was it something that you changed so that you can have balance in your life, or was it just something that knocked on your door and you followed?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a wake up one day, okay, I'm switching directions type of thing. It was, I'd sold on Amazon for a while. I had some success there. I'd gotten into the hiring space and I kind of started this platform on the side. And well, Amazon was getting more competitive and I wasn't really selling my own product and I wasn't really passionate about baby products that I was selling. Meanwhile, FreeUp over here, I was growing my brand. I was growing my reputation there, and that took off and surpassed my Amazon sales. And then it just became one of those life decisions to focus on that over Amazon.
Skill, attitude, and communication are three foundations of how you hire people. How has that evolved?
Honestly, that's probably the piece that has evolved the least. I mean, we've improved our interview process. We've added different questions. And we were just talking today about how we can just set expectations better. I mean, it's a fine line between these are freelancers, they're their own business. We don't want to control them. But at the same time, we don't want them taking on requests they can't do at a high level or not responding within a business day, stuff like that. So trying to find that line. But the basis of the entire platform, the skill, the attitude, and the communication hasn't changed. When I hire VAs, and I just hired 3 new customer service reps, I looked for what was their skill, what was their past customer service experience, and how relative was it to what we need. I looked at how good was their attitude. Can they talk to people? Can they handle an escalated situation? And their communication. Is my team going to have to chase them? Are they going to let us know when something goes wrong? I mean, one of my VAs yesterday told me she was pregnant with twins. That's great. We're super happy for her. And she communicated well up front. We made some scheduling changes and people were helpful and they adjusted, but she didn't throw that on us last minute with no notice in the middle of busy season. She communicated that at a very high level and we adjusted accordingly. So the skill, the attitude, the communication, which has been the basis for the platform, that has not changed.
No, I met an amazing guy when I was there, right? His name is Charlie. Is he in the background? It feels as though, or sounds as though he's somewhere close by.
Funny story. I actually have a second dog now named Bailey. My fiance's sister had to move to Utah for her husband's job, and they couldn't take the dog with them. And he was staying at her parents' house, but then he got sick last year with cancer, and he got allergic to dogs, although he's in remission and doing very well. So we took him, and Charlie and him became friends. So now we have 2 dogs. They're both pretty chill, and they're both sleeping right now.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, my friend, I am truly fascinated again by your age. I think it puts you like what, 31, around 31 or 30? No?
Oh, I'm only 30, man. Don't call me 31 yet.
Yeah, again, it fascinates me. But given all that you've seen, given all that you've experienced, all that's around you, the conversation with death, how are you experiencing that? Do you have that conversation? Do you say to yourself, all right, it's today, and today I can die, or I cannot go on? Have you prepared yourself in that way?
I wouldn't say that I am prepared for death. I mean, I'm a very logical person. I know it can happen to me and anyone around me at any given time. I'm very hopeful that it's not coming anytime soon for me. And I'm very fortunate that, knock on wood, my parents are older. They're mid-70s now, and they're doing great. I mean, they're probably more active than most people that are in their 30s and 40s, to be honest. So I'm very grateful for that. I know a lot of people care about their legacy and stuff like that. I mean, for me, it's just how many people I can help along the way. If people remember me or don't remember me in 100 years, that doesn't really change any of the impact that I've made. And I'm very proud of paying out over $6 million to freelancers last year and stuff like that. So I'm much more focused on the present and now, and not very focused on the things I can't control.
I love it, Nathan Hirsch. Again, this was a pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity, my friend, to call in, to check in, and to hear that you have continued along what you said you were going to do. And that never give up attitude still sits in there around your skill and around your communication. Opportunity. You've jumped at it and you've mined it and it's growing. So well done, Nathan Hirsch. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, go to freeup.com with 3 E's, my calendar, my team's calendar is at the top. You can actually book a meeting with one of my virtual assistants now. You can ask them everything about what it's like working for me, what it's like living in the Philippines, stuff like that. Create a free account, get a $25 credit, and always a pleasure to talk to you.
Love it. Nathan Hirsch again. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.